Welcome to episode 634 of the Barcelona podcast, brought to you by the Blue Wire Podcast Network. I'm Nan Hilton, and it's another 3 points for Barcelona in the Champions League. Some of those people out there were saying that Barcelona, they were over the hill. Hansi Flick had been exposed. They were showing weaknesses. You can't play a high line. They can't do it without Lamine Yamal, yada, yada, yada. But Barcelona have won every single match at home this season, and they find themselves no lower than 5th after this match day in the Champions League. So all is good at Montjuic, with Camp Nou to come in a few months' time, especially what will look like knockout stage stuff for Barcelona in the Champions League. And before we do the 5 headlines, as always, subscribing to the YouTube channel is a big help. As always, the merch store is going to have some fun stuff going on in the next few weeks, especially around the holiday season. I know that you love the Barcelona podcast, but to somebody in your life like the Barcelona podcast, that helps me out a whole bunch, as does becoming a patron for as low as $3. Also, giving me a nice rating on the podcast apps also helps out a ton. So without further ado, let's do it. The 5 headlines from Barcelona's 3-0 win over Brest in the Champions League. Headline 1 is Lewandowski hits 100. We already got through the intro, and we're going to get through the rest of this maturely. You can put the fun stuff in the comments, all the jokes about the name Brest, of course. But let's talk about Lewandowski, because there was nothing funny about what Lewandowski did to Brest starting in the 9th minute. So we actually are going to kick this game off in the 9th minute, because I think Barcelona did start on the front foot. There wasn't too much to talk about in that first, 10 minutes or so. Other than Barcelona, they were probably going to get that first goal before Brest did, unless something magical was going to happen. But it comes, when we talk about magic, off the foot of Pedri. Pedri into Lewandowski. Not great from the goalkeeper, Bizot. Reckless into Lewandowski's back. You always worry about Lewandowski getting a back injury, but he was fine. Popped right up, but clearly a penalty as well. Nobody could argue that. Pedri playing that ball, he is much better in this game. We will talk about Pedri, I promise. It's better when he's playing balls from deeper, and that's what happens here. Again, the goalkeeper also made a rash judgment. Lewandowski, good job staying on side. And then for the penalty, the usual run-up from Lewandowski. He gets the keeper to commit and slots it home. Really tough 2 minutes there for Bizot. That's also 100 Champions League goals for Lewandowski. Well, yes, so many of them were not with FC Barcelona. Some of them were against FC Barcelona. Still, you can give congratulations to the Polish striker. He deserves it, an all-time striker in the game. And as I was talking in the Big Up Watch Along, which also joined me on Saturday morning for the Las Palmas one at 8 a.m., where I also have the 7:30 YouTube preview before that. That is East Coast time. But as I was talking about on the Watch Along on Big Up today, when we were talking about the top 50 and top 75 players in Barca history, Lewandowski is, of course, a top 50 player to play for FC Barcelona. But is he, in his time at Barcelona, a top 50 or 75 player in Barcelona history? I said he might need a trophy or two, but on goals alone, I think he's definitely going to get into the top 50 when all is said and done, whether this is the last season for him, which it probably won't be, or next season or anything like that. He's already a legend of the game. It's a little easier for me to say that legends of the game already are top 50 in Barcelona history. But we'll have plenty of time to work on that top 50 stuff when I have a bit more time, maybe in the summertime. But it is time, speaking of time, for the tactics board. That's why we do the watch alongs on Big Up. And very much like your favorite Barca YouTuber and podcaster, when I know I'm wrong about something, Mark Casado, Hansi Flick also admitted when he was wrong about having Dani Olmo on the left wing, and he made the changes today, which is exactly what you want to see. He also admitted he was wrong, I think, about Fermin Lopez on the right side and putting Rafinha in a different spot. So what we see from the team here, and I'm going to spread everybody out just a bit so we could see them out in space coming forward here. So we're going to put Rafinha here on there, da-da-dun, and da-da-da. Okay, so this was pretty much the setup that we saw from the team today, which is good to see. Finding space against a team that was pinned back. They have an experienced back line, does Brest, but Hansi Flick made the calculation that Brest was going to be unable to win the second balls, and they didn't. Cubarsí, Inigo Martinez, Casado, Koundé basically won every second ball. Every 50-50 that went up in the air, Barcelona was finding a way to turn that around and go the other way. So for Hansi Flick, making that calculation, saying, I don't think Brest is going to beat us in the middle of the field the way that Celta de Vigo kind of went 50-50 with us. And we also see Dad actually did kind of beat us a little bit in that way on the road. Hey, we're at home against a team who's struggling in Liga, so let's take it to them. And Barcelona did just that. And this front four and the movement of this front four is what made me so excited. Because Fermin on the left wing isn't really Fermin on the left wing. It's Gerard Martín on the left wing. Because if you're going to have, what did Barcelona finish with in possession here? They finished with 76% possession. That means your left back, and when he stepped out of the game, they had like 78% possession. So if your left back is able to stay that high, that, of course, means that Fermin Lopez isn't really your left winger. He's an inverted left winger, either making the runs here into the half space, that being Fermin and basically switching space with Lewandowski, or just coming right across here. Lewandowski, of course, has the option to run into the half space this way or to drop back and in. Olmo can either take the ball and then drive into this space, or Dani Olmo can come out to the wing while Rafinha steps into the midfield to defend, or Rafinha, as we've seen, is able to make just this run to try to get in over behind, right? So you're really overloading this right side for Barcelona and putting Gerard Martín out on an island. And we'll get to Gerard Martín later, but he was fully capable of dealing with. And all that different close associations between Olmo coming this way, Rafinha coming inside, and then Fermin and Lewandowski being able to switch, and Gerard Martín taking up all that space here. It was also very helpful that every time that the ball was on the feet of Pedri, that he had no issues with taking the ball into space as well. And Pedri also in this game, he was navigating almost sideline to sideline horizontally. There was parts where he was retaining the ball over here, parts where he was up here retaining the ball, and also that pressure from Barcelona. We see when they turn the ball over, exception of the times when Fermin or Rafinha or Olmo, they all had some crucial misses in this game. But unless that ball went out of bounds, Barcelona were pressing. And this is exactly the way they were pressing. They were looking to take that ball that Brest had and kick it out wide. And then again, it was in this area here, and we'll build a circle here. It was in this area here when that ball would come in, and then it was either Castro winning it or it was Kubarsi winning it in this space. Or if they went out wide, it was Koundé winning it. So everything was forced with Fermin coming this way on that press. They were forcing that ball long every single time out from the back and winning the ball right in that area right there. And in the early parts of that game, Fermin Lopez was one who was having the most chances. He didn't get a goal today. Frustrating for him, but still, it was positive signs from Barcelona to the point that I felt it was something they could replicate throughout the remainder of the game. Headline 2 is in control without goals. Barcelona controlled this match. 20th minute is a picture-perfect way to press and win the ball, like I just laid out in that tactics board. 23rd minute, it's another takeaway by Barcelona. Koundé and Rafinha relentless on the press. Fermin wide on the shot. A little bit of deja vu for that. 26th minute, they defend a set piece beautifully. I might actually do a more tactical deep dive on how much I enjoyed the set piece defense in Barcelona today. Brest didn't even sniff an opportunity, even on a set piece. So again, they defend as a complete unit. Inigo Martinez and Lewandowski commanding the troops, being the vocal leaders. You could see them when Barcelona were defending set pieces. 29th minute, something was brewing. You felt it for Barcelona. A missile from Rafinha got deflected. Frustrating day for him because he couldn't score, but hey, can't score in all of them. I know he wants to, though. 40th minute, Bizot stops Fermin point blank on the header. So Bizot, he made the mistake on the PK, but here in the 40th minute, should have been 2-0, but hey, he sticks the foot out, finds something. Could have gone anywhere else with that goal, Fermin, but yeah, unfortunately not your day. But I end this first half saying Barcelona, awesome job, fully controlling that game, creating loads of opportunities. The intensity levels, that's the response you want to see out of Celta de Vigo. The report from Guillem Balague was that when you walked by the locker room after that game against Celta de Vigo, you could hear Hansi Flick screaming that, hey, you were 85% intensity, and that is not going to cut it. This team has got to be at 100% intensity, and he did not appreciate the level of commitment from his team, and he wanted a response in this game. And I felt like full-heartedly in the first half and the second half, he got a commitment of intensity, working hard, working together, communicating, doing all the stuff in between the ears. And, you know, they say win with your legs, and Barcelona today definitely won with their legs. Yes, there was magical moments, but they earned this win. They won with their legs with the intensity that just was so much more than Brest could have anticipated, even though Brest had to go out on the road. Headline 3 is Pedri and Gerard Martín to the top. I just have to highlight, while Pedri was the man of the match, Gerard Martín, I don't think was a contention for man of the match. Gerard Martín had his best showing in a Barcelona uniform, so I have to mention him as well. 50th minute, it looked like Brest had something cooking, but they were offside. There wasn't really a moment in this game because of how far Brest was offside that I was really worried about that offside. As I kind of had mentioned with Bamba against Celta de Vigo, Brest didn't really have a winger that was quick enough to give that back line for Barcelona the headaches that a really, really quick, just out and out, they call them speed merchants, but Yeah, I mean, Brest don't really have that speed merchant who has the timing and the finishing ability that you're really, really going to have to worry about him. Here's a point, though, too, in that game where while Brest had a moment, felt like they were creating something to start the second half and they came out with some renewed energy. Pedri's ball retention, why he's the man of the match, he completely took over that game. The La Pausa, the control, the pace, whatever you want to call it, the tempo, he controlled every aspect of this game and raised his level in the second half. You don't get man of the match for skill points, but maybe he should have. Nutmegs, rainbows. He took Brest mentally out of that game. The yellow cards that they picked up in this game were out of pure frustration. They could not take the ball off him. That says a lot about just how much your skill is needling the opposition and mentally just dooming them to losing all 3 points on the road. So Pedri, yeah, awesome stuff from him. Cannot say enough. If you find a compilation from just this match for Pedri, that would be the thing to watch after my match review. 54th minute, Fermin again stopped by the foot of the keeper. Again, no luck for him on the day. Lewandowski, a sensational back heel into the path of Fermin, and a much better match for Lewandowski than he had against Celta de Vigo. He was much quicker to release the ball today. Celta de Vigo, I think, because he had less of the ball, very much like Real Sociedad, he was trying to make things happen. And what we saw last year is the same case this year. When Lewandowski lets the game come to him and lets his teammates make it happen for him, he scores goals and he's always in the right spot. And when Lewandowski does a bit too much, then it feels like he also doesn't find his best form in front of goal. So today, he let the game come to him, and Lewandowski I thought was excellent. Outside of the brace even, I thought he was excellent in open play and helping out on the press as well. Gerard Martín, that's the other guy that I really want to mention here. What a bounce back from him from a game where many were calling for him to not start in this match with Balde not being 100% fit, unable to start. A lot called for Hector Fort, but Hansi Flick, he must see something in training that the rest of us don't, because Gerard Martín starts this match and he deserved that start. He was better from the opening whistle all the way up through. I have a bunch of moments in my notes as to why Gerard Martín, I already mentioned tactically why getting farther forward was actually helpful for him, but he also was delivering a final ball to good effect. He also defensively was much more solid today. I think it was all kind of summed up in the 58th minute. What I thought was maybe one of the better chances for Brest. He wins a free kick with a last-ditch tackle. If he doesn't make that tackle, Brest are potentially in on goal. He also then had an interception in the 60th minute, just showing you the confidence that he had in this game. Let's give you those stats, though, for him. In the 78 minutes he played, he had the assist, 95 touches, almost 100 touches for him. He missed 9 of his 73 passes, but he had 88% passing accuracy, 3 key passes, 1 big chance created, 1 accurate cross, 1 accurate long ball. He was 3 of 7 on his ground duels, but he didn't commit a single foul. He had 2 clearances, 3 interceptions. He was fouled 3 times. He had a tackle, but he wasn't dribbled past a single time, and he had 7 ball recoveries. What a day by Gerard Martín. Yeah, if not for Pedri absolutely being my man of the match, hey, maybe Gerard Martín would have been my man of the match because he was excellent on the day. 61st minute, just to round out this headline, Olmo had a shot blocked off the line. Really could have been 2-0 at that point. Barca, though, were creating those opportunities by keeping the ball in, winning the second balls all game. Koundé cross came in and almost shot, again, saved off the line by Cardenet, and the rebound didn't bounce far enough for Fermin to jump onto it, but hey, Barcelona were making things happen. Headline 4 is Olmo puts it to bed. Let's make our last 2 headlines a little bit quicker because, as I kind of mentioned, even though it was 1-0, you got the sense that Brest were not going to come back in this game, and Barcelona were just waiting for that second goal. Finally, it came in the 66th minute, almost goal, the assist from Gerard Martín. Move started on the right. Castro and Inigo Martinez did something that we didn't see as much last season, and they switched play very quickly. 1 touch, Castro, Inigo Martinez finished the switch of play. Defender then too late out to Martin. Barcelona taking advantage of the wingers, who I think at that point, without having seen much of the ball, again, at that point, Barcelona had almost 80% of possession, so too late to come out to Martin. Wingers were definitely gassed, and then Martin feeds Olmo in the box, and Olmo took 2 touches to get around the defender, a little bit of skill from him, and beating the keeper. And then Olmo, for his troubles and for the goal, immediately comes off for Gabi. So, hey, good last moment for Dani Olmo. And the 76th minute looked like Brest could have almost made this a game. They were offside, but it wasn't by a little bit. Again, you watch the replays. I know we're all having heart attacks at a high line, but yeah, Brest were not in this game. And every time it looked like they were going to score a goal, have an opportunity, the flag came up because they were way offside. And then headline 5 is Barca writes the last chapter. The remainder of this game was, again, could Brest maybe make this a little bit of something? Or was Barcelona more likely going to get the 3rd goal and put this to bed? Or were they just going to wind up taking that clock down to 0 and then taking the 3 points at home and calling a good victory. We know what happens here. 78th minute, Martín off to a huge ovation for Balde, and Fermin off for Pablo Torre. Good moment for him. Pablo Torre should have had one, but it's all good. Pablo Torre, I think his pressing in this game was enough to earn him even more minutes. And by more minutes, I don't mean starts. I think Pablo Torre is the best and perfect option to come in for the last 15 minutes of the game. He finds space well. He has a lot of energy in his legs. He presses hard. He does all the little things. I think that Fermin Lopez, I know he struggled tonight, but Fermin Lopez and Dani Olmo are just better players at the moment than Pablo Torre. But I think Pablo Torre has the talent to impact games late of any variety, whether it's Real Madrid and Bayern Munich or it's against Brest. Pablo Torre has the talent to affect these games late. 88th minute, speaking of affecting a game late, De Jong on for Pedri. There seemed to be in the stands, definitely applause, a standing ovation for Pedri, man of our match, of course, but maybe a few jeers in there for De Jong. I don't really need to talk about him because this is just garbage time, but I think he is fourth on that depth chart. There's 2 spots and the double pivots between Castro, Pedri, and Gabi. Until Gabi gets fit, I think it's going to be 3 players for 2 positions, and then De Jong is the 4th midfielder, and who knows what happens with Marc Bernal next season. But you could say, again, this is not disparaging whether or not he wants to defend, whether or not he wants to fight, or how much he has in his boots, or how talented he is. If he's not fully fit, his fitness puts him as 4th on the depth chart, and that means that he's not going to get a lot of minutes. And that means that the fans and the media are going to be all over him. It's a really tough spot for De Jong to be in. I'm not calling for him to be kicked out of the club or anything like that. I'm saying that he's going to have to regain his fitness while he's 4th on the depth chart, which is going to be really hard to do because Pedri and Gabi and Castro are a huge reason why Barcelona have started the season so well and are continuing to get good results. And then the 3-0, 91st minute, Lewandowski gets 101 into the Champions League. Balde creates this one. Well, some of the credit at least. Barcelona continuing to press all the way into stoppage time in a game they're winning. Pablo Torre and Rafinha take the ball away, and then Balde finds Lewandowski, who gets the ball out of his feet and enough time to get the shot off. He's in form. I said when he's having a good game in all aspects, seems like he finds the back of the net as well. Lewandowski just cannot stop scoring. This was utter domination from Barcelona, though. Do not get it twisted here. 19 shots to 2, 8 shots on target to 0, 76% possession, more than 770 passes in the game, 73 to be exact, 89% passing accuracy, less than 10 fouls Barcelona committed. They were fouled almost 20 times. No cards for Barcelona, committing 4 for Brest, and then 4 corners to 0 for Brest. Barcelona weren't offside a single time, and Brest were offside 6. Barcelona, utter domination this game, and even the 3-0 does not do this game justice, one that they easily won at home, a place that they have won every match this season. All right, so that'll do it for the 5 headlines. I will not have another show this week, but I will be back on Saturday morning. Again, it's Thanksgiving here in the U.S., so I've got some, I don't know how much turkey I'm going to eat, but I did make some of my bacon pumpkin soup that I talked about on the Big Up Watch Along. So speaking of the Big Up Watch Along, I will have that at 8 a.m. on Saturday morning here on the East Coast for the watch along against Las Palmas. And then before that at 7:30 will be the YouTube live preview, which again will take that whole group, hopefully, and everybody migrates over to Big Up and we have some fun over there. So again, if you're listening on the podcast apps, give me a rating or anything like that. I know there's still a lot of people that do that. I always appreciate the listeners as much as I do the people watching on YouTube. The Patreons, I extra appreciate you. And as low as $3, you can support the show. And then, as always, I have the merch store and some stuff is brewing over there. That is a way to directly support the show. And as always, until next time, Forza Barça.